Governor Bello Matawalle condoles the family of late Alhaji Ibrahim Bernice Adam, Zulum Stones fuel stations, and calls for punitive measures against holders. Buhari gives Osinbajo new appointment. On business, petrol marketers refuses to comply with 123 naira fuel price. And in the international scene, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs has given reasons why Nigerians were not evacuated from abroad. Welcome to Standard Voice Television News. My name is Samira Ibrahim. Now the news in full. Governor Bello Muhammad Matawalle Maradun has received with great shock the death of Alhaji Ibrahim Bernice Aba. Alhaji Ibrahim Bernice Aba was an astute civil servant and a very disciplined citizen who spent all his life in the service of humanity. A former secretary to the state government, Alhaji Ibrahim Bernice Aba, was responsible for the training of bulk of civil servants in the state. Governor Matawalle, who described him as a father and elder statesman, extolled his good virtues as a civil servant who led clean years of service and a very humble life in the retirement. He described his death as a great loss to the entire state and the country as a whole. According to him, the state will miss his fatherly and rich civil service experience. He, however, expressed satisfaction that the disease has not left a vacuum in his life and that the state will continue to benefit from the achievement he left behind. Alhaji Ibrahim Bernice Aba died Tuesday in Gusau at the rate of 82, leaving behind 3 wives and 20 children. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Amid suspected plans by some petrol marketers to create artificial scarcity under COVID-19 lockdown, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Zulum on Tuesday stormed some filling stations in Maiduguri with a call on the Department of Petroleum Resources (DPR) to seal off stations hoarding products. Professor Zulum, in a surprise outing, evaluated qualities of fuel available at some stations he visited. The governor's visit was informed by reports made to him of some unpatriotic marketers taking advantage of COVID-19 preventive measures put in place by government to hold petroleum products to exploit buyers. The governor's visit made some fuel stations to revert to selling products at government fixed prices of 125 naira per litre as against inflated rates they forced on buyers who bought for fear of scarcity. Governor Zulum had, during interaction with marketers, frowned at exploitative behaviors and said he will ensure they were punished by the DPR, which has the statutory duty to regulate marketers. The governor said the government will partner with DPR so that the affected stations will be appropriately sanctioned to serve as deterrent. The governor regretted that most of the stations either selling above the official 125 naira per litre or hoarding the product for the reason best known to them, and appealed to DPR to seal such stations. The Inspector General of Police, IGP M.A. Adamu, has tested negative to coronavirus. According to the Nigerian Police Force, the IGP received the result of the test on Tuesday morning, having submitted samples on Friday. Other officers who also tested negative include the Force Public Relations Officer, DCP Frank Mba, the Principal Staff Officer to the IGP, DCP Idua Uwohunwa, and Head of the Force Technical Intelligence Unit, DCP Larry Ogulu. Others are personal physician to the IGP, CSP Dr. Nonye Wele, Medical Officer, Police Clinic, Force Headquarters Abuja, CSP Dr. Titus Adebite, Secretary to the IGP, SP Moses Jolubo, and 5 other aides to the IGP. While noting that policing is a high-contact job with its attendant risks, the IGP enjoins police officers nationwide to adhere strictly to all precautionary and safety measures in the course of their day-to-day activities. A statement by the Nigerian Police Force enjoined members of the public to voluntarily obey all restriction orders placed by the constituted authorities. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the formation of an Economic Sustainability Committee. The team will be chaired by the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Boss Mustafa, made the announcement on Monday in Abuja. Boss Mustafa, chairman of the Presidential Task Force, PTF, on COVID-19, spoke at the first joint briefing with the new committee. Meanwhile, President Buhari had approved the procurement of resources to fight COVID-19. Minister of Health, Professor Osagi Ihanire, made the disclosure at the daily PTF press conference. He said the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, had also been empowered to expand its capacity to test for COVID-19. The NCDC is working around the clock to improve turnaround time for testing in all our 6 molecular laboratories. He said to scale up to 13 labs in the next 3 weeks is in progress. They are sited at Abakaliki, Maiduguri, Kano, Sokoto, Port Harcourt, Jos and Kaduna states. The minister told Nigerians that testing for the virus is free of charge. The country has recorded 2 deaths and over 100 cases. Kano State Private Health Institution Management Agency, PIMA, on Tuesday shut down a clinic allegedly operating with unqualified medical personnel. The closure of the health facility named Fresh Care Clinic, situated in Dawakin Kudu local government area of Kano State, was based on complaints by residents over alleged unprofessional conduct of operations. The executive secretary of the agency, Dr. Usman Tijjani Aliyu, stated this in a statement issued to Sellers Base on Tuesday. Dr. Usman Tijjani Aliyu said the persistent complaint of patient mismanagement at the private health facility led to surveillance by the agency, which subsequently exposed the quacks working at the clinic, giving wrong diagnosis to unsuspecting patients. The executive secretary said the illegal act was perpetrated due to alleged self-disengagement of the registered medical director of the clinic in the person of Dr. Awal Ahmad for months without formally notifying the private health institution management agency. He said the medical director and the proprietor of the clinic will be prosecuted after investigation to serve as deterrent to others. The statement said all the unqualified staff arrested during the raid of the facility will be charged to court also to discourage and prevent this from recurring. The medical director, Bagada General Hospital, Lagos, Dr. Adeleke Adesola Kaka, has debunked claims that the hospital forcibly discharged patients on Tuesday. He was responding to the nation through the telephone interview after a mother complained that her daughter, who was on oxygen, was forcibly discharged by nurse on duty. She further alleged they were told to go home and continue taking medication. According to him, some patients came with some children on Tuesday for complaints, and the doctors were allowed to carry on with their duties as work is ongoing. He said the only thing is that there is non-routine clinic for now because the hospital had to scale down a little bit, and that's not because of anything other than the fact that movement is restricted and some of the staff are not mobile, which the management is trying to resolve. There is no truth in that story, as the hospital didn't forcefully discharge any patient. He said there are babies in the neonatal unit, and the hospital is still taking delivery of babies every day. The patient's mom narrated most of the doctors stopped coming and patients were discharged. She claimed very few people were still in the hospital, with less than 5 nurses taking care of them all. She said her daughter, who was brought in convulsing, was admitted at the emergency ward on Sunday morning and discharged on Tuesday evening. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Coronavirus or COVID-19, the most recent outbreak that has turned to be a global pandemic. Watch how it easily and quickly spreads among humans.
that you can save your life and save the lives of many others by keeping yourself and your environment clean. As part of your civic responsibilities, you should help the government to maintain a clean environment in its determined effort to prevent any outbreak of coronavirus COVID-19 in the states. For your own safety, you should ensure regular washing of your hands with soap under running water or use sanitizer. Avoid body contact and avoid big gathering of people. In case you notice any symptoms of coronavirus, like difficulties in breathing, high body temperature, running nose, feverish condition, you should immediately contact any member of the contact committee on the outbreak of coronavirus COVID-19 on the following numbers: 081 65 40 86 96, 081 05 00 988, or 080 63 03 53 85. A stitch in time, they say, saves life.
This message is from Standard Voice Television, Svtv, Seoul, Zamfara State, Nigeria.
Welcome back. On business, over to Rita.
Welcome to Standard Voice Business Update. Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, IPMAN, on Wednesday, directed its members to stick to the sales of the old price of 125 naira, rather than revert to the new pump price adjustment until their old stocks are exhausted. The Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency had on Tuesday announced another reduction of pump price from 125 naira per litre to 123.50 per litre. The latest adjustment came less than 2 weeks after the federal government dropped the pump price from 145 naira to 125 naira. Alhaji Bashiru Damalan, the IPMAN chairman, Kano branch, who gave directive while speaking to newsmen in Kano on Wednesday, said members of the association will not comply with the new price regime until after they have sold all their old stocks. According to him, the last time the federal government reduced the pump price of the product from 145 naira per litre to 125 naira per litre, its members nationwide lost over 5.5 billion naira as a result of the sudden reduction. He noted that the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria is the largest employer of labour beside the federal government, adding that members of the union will not continue to operate at a loss. He accused the management of the PPPRA of trying to sabotage the federal government's efforts to ensure sustained fuel supply and distribution across the country through some policies that could plunge the sector into serious crisis. He said the union could not hesitate to ask its members to withdraw their services could any filling station of its members close for not selling at the new pump price of 123.50 naira per litre. And that is on Standard Voice Business Update. Until I come your way again, I'm Agua Rita.
And on the international scene. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadia Umar Farooq, on Tuesday said the federal government had identified over 11 million poor Nigerians to benefit from the palliative to cushion the harsh effect on the coronavirus pandemic. Speaking in Abuja at the briefing by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, she said the ministry had 11,045,537 individuals, 35 states, 453 local governments, 4,946 wards, 47,698 communities, and 2,644,495 households on the National Social Register of Poor and Vulnerable Households. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Geoffrey Onyema, said though some countries had evacuated their nationals from Nigeria, the federal government was yet to evacuate Nigerians from other countries owing to diplomatic procedures. He noted that evacuations had to be done within the framework of embassies. As at Tuesday, There has not been any request from any of the Nigeria's embassy indicating any significant numbers of Nigerians to leave, and if such report is received, the federal government will act accordingly. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman of the Task Force on COVID-19, Boss Mustafa, said that the government will issue the restriction protocol and exemption guidelines of the lockdown in FCT, Lagos and Ogun states over the COVID-19 global pandemic. He said the coronavirus has not only attacked our health as people, it has also attacked our wealth as a nation. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Governor Bello Matawalle condoles the family of late Alhaji Ibrahim Birnin. Zulum storms fuel stations and calls for punitive measures against holders. Buhari gives Osinbajo new appointment. On business, the petrol marketers refuses to comply with 123 naira fuel price. And on the international scene, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs has given reasons why Nigerians were not evacuated from abroad. That's the news on behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs, Ibrahim Garbatuni. I am Samira Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant day. Keep watching Standard Voice Television News. Goodbye.